Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to try to talk a little bit about the upcoming Tech Tree tank. Which one is it going to be? Obviously it's going to be a tank imported from World of Tank PC, but what kind of tank? And on that I don't have the answer, but I have a lot of leads that would interest a lot of you. So let's not lose too much time and jump directly into it, starting off with a photo from a meeting Wargaming organized a couple of years ago. Basically when they announced the European Tech Tree in a convention, they talked about multiple nations they wanted to add in this European Tech Tree, and mainly 4 nations: Poland, Italy, Finland and Sweden. So we have all those 4 nations that are waiting for Wargaming to be implemented into the European Tech Tree. For the moment, if we take a look at the current Tech Tree we have, the Progetto 65 represents Italy. We have the Kranwagen that represents Sweden, so we are still waiting for 2 more to go. Yeah, there is the Czechoslovakians, but they're already implemented thanks to the 7.7 update, but we're waiting for Finland tanks and Polish tanks. Which one out of Poland or Finland should eat the game soon? Let me explain to you briefly why I think it would be the Polish. When you take a look at the Polish, you have different tanks. You have the Pudol that is currently being tested, which is basically a Panther captured by the Polish army during the 40s. And that is going to be eating the game as a premium, a tier 6 premium. And on the other side, we have a 50 TP prototype, which is currently in test and which is basically a heavy tank, a tier 9 collectible heavy tank from the Polish Tech Tree. So Wargaming is testing out 2 Polish tanks, kind of suspicious as they are not doing anything to the Finland nation. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we don't have any Finland tank in this game yet. Maybe it's gonna come, who knows? I don't even know. I did not even know that Finland had tank, but hey, I'm curious to see what it's gonna look like. But basically we can expect Poland to eat the game as a nation. Obviously in the European Tech Tree, which is kind of logic because it's from the European nation. So, wait, wrong. Yeah, that's the screen I wanted to show. Obviously here it's photoshopped. I know it's photoshopped, but it's interesting to talk about that over the fact that if Wargaming is testing Polish tanks, that's possibly because they want to implement a Polish tank. Let me explain to you briefly how it works. Most of the time when Wargaming is trying to implement a new nation, they implement first a premium of that nation specifically, and a premium that will look like the tier 10 they are going to release. This way they can sell the tank and at the same time analyze how the tank performs to be able to balance the whole line that will go after it and that will be available for everyone because it's a Tech Tree tank. Doing this, it allows Wargaming to make money, but also testing. And if we take a look at what they are currently testing, aka the 50 TP the 50 TP prototype, sorry, which is a tier 9 Polish heavy tank, we can expect Wargaming to implement a heavy line into the European Tech Tree. And as we expect it to be Polish, the only candidate for the post is the 60 TP Lewandowski. Why? It's a heavy tank, it's a Polish tank, and it really looks like a 50 TP because the 50 TP, I mean the 60 TP is based on the 50 TP as their names are saying, so we can expect that tank to hit the game pretty soon. But what does it look like? If the 60 TP Lewandowski is implemented into the game, it would make the E100 completely power correct. Let me explain to you briefly why. This tank has the same gun as an E100, a 640 alpha damage one, which makes it quite an interesting tank to play, but also quite a devastating one. Unlike the E100, this one doesn't have any weak spots on the turret. I mean, you have weak spot, but your weak spot is not the whole tank, unlike the E100. For example, here in this replay, using heat shells, you can go through the E100 hull quite easily, whereas the E100 will have to aim at something and will probably struggle. And that's exactly what's happening in this replay right now. Look at this E100 that just bounced his shell on the 50 TP Lewandowski, and that was totally logic because that tank is made of Polish steel, which is one of the strongest, I guess, based on how many bounces this guy received during the game. But yeah, overall, let's say that if this tank is implemented, the E100 is going to be completely useless. Of course, I don't know how World of Tank Blitz intends to balance that tank. Maybe they're gonna keep it the same way as it is in World of Tank PC, aka a really strong tank with a strong turret, or maybe they will nerf it the same they did with the K91, because if they nerfed the K91 turret, which is the exact same as the Lewandowski when it comes to the design, we could expect Wargaming to try something like that. It would be weird from Wargaming to do that, but maybe they will, and doing that it will actually make the grind to the E100 worth it. But let's be honest, waiting for Wargaming to buff the E100 in the future, and it's gonna take ages because it's called power creeping, and there is nothing you can do against that. You implement tanks that are stronger and stronger to keep the attractiveness of your tank and of your game, not of your tank. And doing this, obviously you will have some tanks that will have to get sacrificed, and I think the E100 is one of them. So yeah, if this tank is implemented, don't even bother rushing to the E100. And if I was you guys, I would stay away from the E100 for a small amount of time, because maybe during the 6 upcoming months, Wargaming is going to announce the Polish tanks, and we'll have the pleasure of playing that tank on the battlefield, which is a tank I'm really hyped for. It seems kind of amazing, and I love big tanks with big guns. That's what I like to play, especially tank destroyers, but here I'll go with a heavy tank. So tell me in the comments, what do you think about this? What do you think about Wargaming implementing such a beast in the game? Obviously, everything I talked about right now is subject to change, because nothing is official, nothing is confirmed, so don't start spamming Wargaming about the 60TP Lewandowski. I'm only analyzing facts, saying my opinion basically, so don't expect Wargaming to actually clarify the situation, because they will not do it. Hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.